Greetings, everyone. This security awareness training conducted for 2024 is part of the risk assessment which was conducted for LiveWell. And in conclusion, this training is being conducted for the employees of the LiveWell Consortium of Cardiologists. When it comes to employees of any organization, they are the first line of defense when it comes to cybersecurity, because employees have the privilege of gaining access to the organization's information, which is sensitive, the organization's assets, which are information, systems, applications, which hold a lot of sensitive and critical information to run the business. And especially in a healthcare service like LiveWell in itself, attackers are interested because it holds a lot of critical data, especially of patients, their healthcare data, their personal data, their payment card information, likewise. So they're interested in getting hold of such data so that they can either sell those data and use those for other malicious purposes. So that's why they're very interested in gaining access to the systems of the organization, the infrastructure in itself. And to gain access to the organization, the first line of defense they need to pass is through employees like yourself. So today we'll be discussing of what are the prominent attacks that are targeted towards the first line of defense of employees and how you can safeguard yourself of these attacks, and what are the basic hygiene that you can follow when it comes to cybersecurity so that you can safeguard yourself as well as the organization from being compromised and having to incur hefty fines from regulatory bodies for any data leakage that could occur, and also safeguard your customers, your patients, your suppliers so that their information is not being leaked and compromised. First, we will speak about social engineering attacks. This can happen even in person, where an attacker could come and speak to you upfront and try to gather information about your work, about the systems that you use, what are the controls that are in place, or even by a simple message, an email, text message, or anything of that sort. What they try to do is they try to manipulate you into sharing sensitive information, which they can use for your disadvantage, for the organization's disadvantage. They can prompt you to download certain software, scan certain malicious QR codes, visit certain websites where you download unwanted software. And from your device, what happens is your singular device will transmit such malicious software into the entire network which you are connected, which is your consortium that you're working for, and compromise the entire network, where the attackers can gain access to all of the systems and applications and the data. Now, social engineering attacks would also involve you in sending money to secure probably large discounts or a spot in some training program, some examples of that sort, or even as a ransom for that matter. And the intention is to compromise and make you a bait to enter into the organization system. How you can prevent these attacks is always be cautious and always think as to why the person is asking such sensitive questions from you, and think before you speak, and always never share your confidential information with anyone, whether it's over the phone or whether it's through the email or even on social media when you're posting about your organization or your experiences. Please be cautious as to what you share. And always verify if you have the slightest doubt in mind whether this is legitimate or not. Always verify it with, it can be a known sender. Always verify with that sender or your immediate supervisor, or if you're in doubt, you can also reach out to your IT department for further assistance. Now, the next type of attack is very common, which is known as the phishing attack. Now, these phishing attacks can happen in various forms. It can be through email, it can be through WhatsApp message or any social media message, or it can be through an instance where you're requested to scan a certain QR code or a voice message. Any such instance or form can be used to make you share sensitive information with the attacker. So this is known as one of the most topmost reasons for malware infections, which happen across the globe in various sectors, especially in healthcare and in the finance sectors. And how you can avoid being prey to such attacks is by verifying whatever message that you receive. Check for grammatical errors, check for spelling errors. These are the red flags that you would find in it so that you can safeguard yourself. And there is always in such messages a sense of urgency which is created. You have to click this link within the next 30 minutes to get this offer. Or it can be a message of a person saying that that is your loved one or a known person to you, and that person is in danger. You need to immediately transfer this money to save their life or something of that sort. So there is always a sense of urgency involved in it, and it's threatening language that they use, that if you don't do this, this might happen to you. And the promises they make are too good to be true, so always be cautious of those. And it can be also having attachments that you don't expect a normal person to send you, that, or you are aware that that sender, normally doesn't send such messages. And it will always contain suspicious links as well for you to click. So if you have the slightest doubt, please verify it with the sender. Don't assume anything that it's trustworthy, and this person always sends you very legitimate messages, so you can go ahead and click no. Always verify it. It's better to be safe than sorry. And then, for instance, this is an example of a phishing email. So I'll take you through as to what are the red flags that you can see from looking at this phishing email. For instance, this email ID, if you see no reply at messaging hyphen LinkedIn. Now, this does not seem to be a legitimate email address of a LinkedIn person. And then you can see the spelling error here, right here. LinkedIn is not spelled properly. And also another point that you can use is to check the links when you hover over this. Don't click on them. These images might not look authentic. If you hover over these links, you might find the links are not the usual authentic links that you would find in LinkedIn. So we'll see some of the other red flags that you can find. Like I said, the email ID doesn't is has a misspelling in this, and it looks suspicious. And then these kind of logos which have links, be cautious of those. Don't click on any icons or images. And if you see the message, it speaks of, it prompts the person to do business immediately. So there's a sense of urgency which is created. So this basically gives an incentive to the recipient, making them to do something immediately. And like I said, you hover over the links and you verify the legitimacy of those links. And what these links do is often take you to another, either a cloned page of LinkedIn where you put your credentials and your credentials are captured, or it will even let you download some unwanted software that could compromise your systems and your data. The next thing that you can be cautious of is the password hygiene, how you can protect yourself. That's the main entry point. Your credentials need to be strong. So you create strong passwords. These are some of the parameters which are defined according to industry best practices. You can have minimum of 12 characters. 16 is better. And these should not be guessable passwords like your names of your relatives or friends or your pets or your school. It can be a phrase that is very memorable to you but unique to you. And do not use passwords that are common across multiple platforms if you require to log into different platforms with different credentials. For example, don't have the same password as you have for Facebook, LinkedIn, and whatever other social media or your office systems that you use. Have different ones and use a very well known industry renowned password manager to manage your passwords. And you can add another layer of security by adding two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, where you get a code, an OTP, or you get a token to authenticate whether you are the real user and to verify your device. And always make sure that you don't share your passwords with anyone. Never write it down on paper where anyone can easily find it, or stick it on your screens. So be cautious and maintain this basic hygiene for passwords. That brings us to the conclusion of this training and hope you received certain knowledge as to how to safeguard yourself. And we wish you all the very best. And it's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to cybersecurity. Thank you for your participation.